Alright people, today we're going to talk about the 7 mistakes that I made whilst laying my floor in my lodge. As a few of you may know, I don't have a trade, I just have a go. I'm a proper DIYer. I've never actually laid a laminate nor a vinyl floor. I've only ever tiled a floor. So these are the things that I've done. Hopefully you might be able to learn from them. Mistake number 1, I didn't build my floor flat. Now I used P5 tongue groove chipboard flooring and I had a ridge where the joist hangers were. So I had to plane that flat. You need to think about these things right from the very bloody start because you can't have that much of a deviation with either a laminate or a vinyl floor. Mistake number 2 was the actual flooring that I bought. The lodge is a living area or / office and a shower room. So I wanted the same flooring throughout just to make it a little bit easier for me. That led me to choosing luxury vinyl plank flooring just like this. Chose this one because I quite like the weathered oak look from the sample and it matches in with the oak on the lodge. I quite like the price on this as well. It was reasonably priced. It wasn't that expensive at all really. It wasn't the cheapest, but it was on the low end. I did watch another video about this and I didn't heed the warning. The quality on these, it varies quite a lot, and the cheaper ends, you basically don't want it. So these tongues, you see how brittle that is? It just that's like nothing. Load of crap. So that means when you fit in the actual flooring and you want the tongues to fit together, they basically crack along there. And it's, look, can you believe it? I bought 15 bloody packs of the stuff. Opened one pack, took it upstairs, started laying the planks, got about 6 planks in, and realised that it was total crap and I wasn't going to be able to carry on. So I jumped in the van and went to B&Q. And I bought 700 odd pounds worth of this stuff. This is laminate. This is from Quick Step. It's a light oak with a grey kind of tinge. I've kept the label just in case you're interested. This is Quick Step. It's got a waterproof surface. It's a Quanto laminate. A Quanto laminate. Anyway, I recommend it. It's quite good. This vinyl stuff, absolute rubbish. Drop kick it. Look at that. Now, if you was going to go for the vinyl click stuff, I'd probably go for an expensive brand, maybe Antico. I'm guessing it would be a lot better than the stuff that I bought. Mistake 3 was my layout and my cuts. Now, I wanted to start from the left-hand side of the lodge and work my way right, and also wanted to bring the flooring straight into the shower room, so I didn't have any transitions or a door bar. Now, in my head, I worked that out and I cut the strip down the edge. I worked out I had to take 15mm off a 190 wide plank. But I was wrong because it should have been 30mm. Here's where that made a difference. Now, the flooring, it does run through quite well, but where it butts up against the shower tray just here, the gap was actually too big, so I had to cut a 15mm sliver and put it in there. Now that's rubbish because you shouldn't have less than 40mm. See on this side of the door, that is one plank there. It runs through over here as well. So I had to notch this out, and that notch is basically, I had a sliver here of about 20mm. Now if I would have moved everything that way 15mm, then that would have been 35 and it would have been a lot easier to get that in. So over the opposite side, I went from 190 down to 175, and over this side, that left me with basically 140. So if I would have dropped another 15mm over there, then I would have had even planks either side of the lodge, even though you can't really notice it, but I know it. Let's give you a bonus fitting tip. This flooring clicks in on all 4 sides, so it's profiled everywhere. It's good design as well because you can actually fit it in flat, which comes in handy when you're doing the first 2 rows and round your doors. Click it in flat and just tap it in and it will lock. Once you get onto your 3rd row, the way you want to do it is just hook it in like that and leave it up at an angle. You don't want to lock it in on this bit, and then you get your next board, lift that up slightly, get that one in place as well, so you'll end up with this tiny gap here. Then this part will be braced against the wall, and you hit that one in so it'll lock this way, and then once you've done your full roll, you come back and then you can just force this down and it will lock in on them remaining sides. On to mistake number 4. Now I was laying my flooring this way. I was coming off of this wall. I had my spaces on this wall for the expansion gap. I had them down the far end for my expansion gap, and I didn't put them on this wall here. Now, as I come across, I got into about the 5th plank, and these first 3 rows had all shifted that way. So you need to make sure that you put your spaces on both sides, otherwise you'll end up losing the expansion gap like I did here. Talking of losing expansion gaps, the best way to deal with that, draw a line, get your multi-tool out and recut it. I've lost my expansion gap on this wall as well. It's just because it's a little bit springy, and by the time I pull the packers out, it closes up the gap. Which leads me on to mistake number 5. The packers, or spacers, whatever you want to call them. These are glazing packers and they're serrated. Can you hear that? So that means that once you put them in there and you want to pull them back out, it wants to chip the top of the laminate. You might get away with most of it. I got away with all of it, apart from this very bit here. So it chips off the laminate there. Now the issue with that is this isn't quite covered by where the skirting is going to go. So I'm going to have to glue it back. Oh, fuck this right up. Mistake number 6, not reading the instructions properly. Well, I did read the instructions, but just the ones that come in the box. They're not very good. There's better ones on their actual website that are more extensive. This is all relating to the expansion gap around the edge for kitchens and bathrooms, any area that may get a little bit wet. Now here it does say the clearance must be left open and may not be filled by any sealant, silicone or other adhesive. However, on these, it suggests here, there's a little drip there and it's got like a silicone gun to fill it in. Now that's their adhesive. And then later on I found this, only today mind you, you're supposed to lap the actual underlay right up to the edge, which I didn't do. Then you pack it with a little foam filler and then you use their adhesive silicone on top. Now I'm not really sure what to do now. I was just gonna put like a scotia over the top. Have you ever just sealed by the edge of a laminate? Any ideas? Let me know. Number 7 is about the door threshold. It's kind of similar to number 6. It's just my lack of knowledge that products out there exist, which is where we come to this. Now this I found on eBay after the event because I was just going to shove a load of silicone down there, but you're not supposed to do that, are you? So I need to shove this on now. I've lost my expansion gap a little bit on one side, so I'm just going to cut that out and then I'm going to shove this on. G-Bar, Daddy busy? Daddy busy? This has got 2 glue strips there, so you just stick it over the expansion gap and then everything's good. I'm tempted to put a little silicone bead just in there. What do you reckon? So I bet you're thinking, bloody hell Wade, I just want to see the floor. I don't want to see all these little stupid mistakes. Well, here's a few pictures. I didn't take a film at the time, but it turned out all right in the end. So yeah, I made a few mistakes, little hiccups here and there, but you can overcome them kind of situations. There's always going to be people that say you can't do something, but you've got to start somewhere. You just got to have the confidence. Anyway, thanks for watching. I'll see you later.